Errol Spence Crawford, and we look forward to our next big match event in September with Canelo and Jamel Charlo. But right now I want to bring up a man who's certainly a courageous champion and still one of the best in the world. It takes two to tango, and both these guys went ahead and laid it all on the line. The man next to my right, he is a reason why boxing is so unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, I turn it over to Errol Spence Jr. here to give opening comments. Errol, I'm joined by Mr. Derek James.
Hello, everyone. Live night. The better man won tonight, and I didn't make any excuses. I definitely did the same. Just my time was out and capitalize on a couple of things, and it's time to fight better tonight.
Turn it over to the media for questions. For Errol Spence Jr., raise your hand and wait until you get the microphone.
Right. Hey, Errol. Andres Evans, Sporting News. Errol, how was the weight cut for this fight? And I want to follow up with the second question. If the rematch had to be at 47, I know you said you want to be there again. Are you willing to do this rematch back welterweight?
Something like I talked to my man about. Hopefully, he said more people.
How is this particular weight cut? Is it a very difficult one? If you feel like using weight cuts?
I mean, it's always difficult, but like I said, I don't make any excuses. A better man won tonight.
One last question. What about Terence surprised you the most? Was it his timing, his power? What surprised you?
Nothing really surprised me. Just like I thought. Just, my timing wasn't good today.
Questions for Errol Spence Jr.?
Hey, Errol, Keith Heidi from BoxingC.com. What do you attribute your timing not being there to? Did you feel off physically or anything, or what was wrong in the fight?
Yeah, I felt that I'm physically good. Most times I get through it, so, I thought it was going to be just like the other time, but, I couldn't kick it up a notch.
Errol, Sam Gordon here with Las Vegas Review Journal. How would you contextualize and describe Terence's power, and when did you really get a feel for it for the first time tonight?
I got a feel for the power, probably like first, second round. He's a strong dude, but everybody just happens to have some type of power. I think this case in between shots.
Errol, Kevin and I are from Yahoo Sports. My question would be, your face was swelling up really badly. Were you having difficulty seeing as the fight progressed?
No, I'm really seeing that.
I'm sorry.
I said no, I didn't have difficulty seeing it.
And then lastly, did you feel when the fight started, like did you feel good or did you feel like it was, maybe one of those nights?
I felt cool. I thought I could definitely do enough to win the fight, but I felt good. And like I said, I'm not here to make any excuses. I'm a grown man. I decided to agree to wait when we get down to it. That's what I did. So say no excuses. As I took the champion tonight.
Errol, straight back. Dan Rayfield from Big Fight Weekend. I wanted to know, I know it's only a few minutes to go from the end of the fight. How do you think you're going to deal with this going forward, tomorrow, next week? Are you the kind of guy that's going to just bad night, shake it off, and all is good, or are you going to stew over this for a while and it's going to hurt that?
I'm not going to stew over it. I did what I was supposed to do, regardless of the outcome, anything like that. I said I was going to do something. I promised everybody I was going to do it. So I did it as a man. I stood on my word. So I'm definitely not going to soak up over this. And we'll get right back and get to it, hopefully at 154 pounds.
And Errol, even though, we know how big of a fight this was, everybody talked about the historical significance of this fight all through the build-up, all for the last several years as we waited for it to happen. I wonder if it's happened, you go on the losing side of this one. Does it at least give you some solace to know that you gave the boxing public something that they had wanted for so long, even though obviously it didn't go your way?
Definitely. It was exciting. I hope we'll do it and lead up to it too. So it's something that I will change for nothing. And I'm definitely open to the rematch and hopefully we at 154 pounds.
Thanks a lot, guys. Morgan King from the New York Times. This question is for Derek or for Errol. Once Bud won a couple rounds and he started getting momentum, what types of tactical adjustments did you guys want to be able to make?
So, just really kind of do our best to take away what he was doing instead of kind of standing in front of him. And I think that Errol, like you can notice, well, I can notice his time was awfully bad. And he was standing in front of him, so I think that's kind of was the thing, just the time, reaction time was a little slower. But it's okay, it's like life, and come back and deal with it, and you get better.
Hi, Dan Atkins from Daily Mail. I just wondered what you saw in the performance tonight that gives you confidence that in a rematch at 154 pounds that the result was very different.
Who are you talking to?
Errol. Just wondered what aspects of the performance tonight give you confidence that you could change the result even at 154.
Because I know I'm a lot better than what I showed tonight. And I know that a lot of things was out for me. And Terence Crawford did what he was supposed to do, sharp and on point. We made sure we was 100% ready in this fight.
And Sean from ESPN against him. So first of all, Errol, I want to ask you, what did Derek James say to you in terms of supporting you after the fight and how long it has been to you? And is this officially your last fight at 147 in your mind?
Yeah, in my mind, this is my last fight at 147 pounds. So hopefully the next one get 154. But Derek, just told me to keep my head up. I was off and trying to console me like he's supposed to.
And Derek, just in terms of you consoling him, and how do you feel about this? What's going to be your process over the next few days to be able to move on and then just go back to the drawing board on it?
Well, I think that watching it, I had time to understand what was going on. From the first, second round, I kind of saw what was happening and kind of like, I just said, okay, maybe eventually taking with a shot, maybe cover, but it didn't work that way. It's okay. I mean, it's life. Unfortunately, deal with it, embrace it, and move on.
Got two more questions for Errol Spence Jr. Two more.
This question was for Derek James first. Coach Derek, I want to ask you, we haven't seen Errol take as much punishment as he did tonight. Was there ever a point where you thought about stepping in and stopping the bout?
I just wanted to make sure he's okay, right? I saw him get hit with shots, but I think that you can see for me, I see his leg is a little off, but I really wasn't, but then when you think about it, the doctors right there with me were talking back and forth. And they're looking at it, and I'm looking at it, the doctors were talking. So it's like, not really, but you just never know.
And Errol, we saw you go down a couple of times. When you felt Terence's power, particularly in the second knockdown, when you got up, what was going through your mind at that time?
Just fight back. What you mean was going on my time? It's a boxing match, so I was trying to block the shots he was throwing and come back with the shots. Nothing really was going through my mind. It was, the same stuff.
Last question.
Errol Spence, can you talk to us about what Terence Crawford said to you after the fight?
Oh, you should ask for that. He just said the fight, much respect, and that's about it.
All right, we'll allow Errol Spence Jr. to depart, and you know what? Tonight we saw the two best welterweights on the planet colliding, and I give respect to both men because they went ahead and put it all on the line. Round of applause to both Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. for providing us an unbelievable boxing here in Las Vegas. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I want to bring up, he is the first male boxer to be undisputed champion in 2 divisions. For the first time in the 4-belt era, there is an undisputed welterweight champion of the world. This man of 40 wins, no losses. He remains undefeated here tonight. The best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, ladies and gentlemen, from Omaha, Nebraska, we present to you Terence Crawford, ladies and gentlemen. Terence, as we are literally moments removed from your mesmerizing performance, what does this mean for you? I mean, you're the first male boxer in history, undisputed in not 1 but 2 divisions.
Like I said before, this meant everything to me. I want to give honor to God for blessing me to be here, be able to perform in front of each and every one of them. And that's pretty much it. I wanted to thank Errol Spence and his team for me and him coming together and getting this fight underway. This is the fight that everybody wanted to see. The whole world was talking about it, and we put on a great show.
All right, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to questions for Terence Crawford. If you have questions, raise your hand.
Terence, Andreas Evans, Sporting News. Just talk to Errol. He said he hopes to get the rematch and he'd like to have the rematch at 154 pounds. Are you interested in moving up and wait for the rematch and have to be at 47?
Definitely don't have to be at 47. Like I said, I'm in a hurt business. 47 was kind of hard for me too. I was already talking about moving up the weight and challenging Charlo. So 54 before wanted to be outreach of anything.
One follow-up with, how did you pull off getting Eminem to walk you out tonight?
I don't know. I throw a rock in a haystack and he replied, and, you know, I told him to pull up, and it's like I'm there. And you're one of my favorite fighters, and you know that showed, you know, a lot of support for me, and that showed what level I'm at in the boxing world.
Last question. Naomi Inoue was considered the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world after his performance on Tuesday. Do you think he definitively put his stamp on you as the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world after this performance?
Without a doubt, like I told everybody once before, the winner out of this fight is going to be #1 pound-for-pound, hands down. You got Errol Spence, who's ranked #4 in the pound-for-pound, and you got Terence Crawford, who's ranked #1. So you got two fighters that's in the top 5 pound-for-pound ratings. How can they not be #1 pound-for-pound?
Terence, Keith Hyde from BoxingScene.com. Congratulations on a great performance. Was it even easier than you expected it to be once you were in there?
Never. Like I said, we trained so hard in the training camp that it may look easy in the ring, but these fights are never easy. These fights are very extremely hard because we put our body through the most in training camp, and I worked my ass off to get to where I'm at today, to perform in front of each and every one of y'all. I even did things that was different in this fight. You know, we did a pre-camp, came out to Vegas, stayed for a month, you know, so I've been working for a long time for just this one moment, so it's never easy.
At which point in the fight did you realize that he wasn't going to be able to do anything with him tonight?
Well, the first round, I felt as if I had the speed and power. I felt, you know, his power, and I felt as if I was a stronger fighter. And yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Andrew Jones, ESPN, Terence Crawford, congratulations on a special night. Roy Jones Jr. told me yesterday that if you won this fight, that you'd be up there as one of the all-time best pound for pound. You talked about Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather era, now that era. Where do you rank yourself all-time pound for pound after tonight?
Well, I'm up there. I always want to pay homage to the fighters that came before me, you know, because without them, you know, me, wherever they want to go, you know, I'm up there. It ain't my job to put me where I want to be. It's your job to put me where I belong.
Hey, who came up with this idea to walk out and what you told your mom when you celebrate behind the ring and give her a birthday present that you wanted to give her?
No, it's all so cold. Like I said, it's so cold. Everything. He came up with the idea. He said, man, I got you, bro. He designed my last outfit. And I told him, I said, man, that was one of the coldest outfits that I had. And he said, wait till you see this one. I said, all right. And, you know, his creativeness, you know, brought to life, along with Everlast, and then you got what you got.
Terence, Kevin Ireland from Yahoo Sports. Congratulations on your podium performance. I wonder, when you were with Top Rank for many years, there would be fights on Fox or Showtime, and they would list top welterweights. I guess it was more Fox. They would list top welterweights, and you weren't even on there a lot of the time, and a lot of fans would get upset about that. Do you feel like now when you look back, like do you feel some sense of vindication that people who overlooked you for so long now, you're at the top of the heap and there's no doubt?
Well, I've been telling each and every one of y'all for years. A lot of y'all over here looking sad. Elliot, you looking like a retarded ass dude over there. You know what I mean? But all in all, you know, I get to say I told y'all. Because I've been asking for these fights for years. And y'all been saying, oh, he's too small. He's going to get this. He's going to get broken. And each and every time that I step up, I prove them each time. So, you know, write some great stories about Terence Crawford. Don't hate him. Don't say nothing negative. Just give me my promise.
The other question I want to
Well, I just look at it like this, man. I just look at all the training that we put in, all the months that we put in, and I wasn't ever worried. And as far as going up against Derrick James, it's an honor. It's an honor. He's last year, the year before last, turned out of the year, and they never really gave us our props. The writers, the reporters, all the websites. So, I'm just glad. It hasn't sunk in yet, but it will pretty soon. To me, I just look at it like it's another day, And you also got to give props out to the whole team. You got solid games right here. You got Red Spike, come on up here, Red. You got Bernie the Lion. You got Steve Soko Nelson, you know what I'm saying? He helps out a lot. Sometimes you see what we don't see. You got Chet Rachel Higgins. Chet, distributed edition coach. Where Ashley at? They go Ashley right there. She's another distributed edition coach. We got chefs, we got dietitians, we got everything. It's a team effort. They ain't all about me getting my flowers. You're gonna get my flowers. You're gonna get the whole team flowers.
Terence, Errol working for IFL TV. When I've interviewed you before, you spoke about the moment in your career that you thought was the best, and that was against Ricky Burns. Does the net eclipse that moment?
No, not at all. Like I always said before, I don't think there ever going to be a moment to actually make me feel the way I felt when I was in Scotland that day. Because that was my whole dream. I was filled with so much excitement to go all the way over to Scotland. Me, the little bit of family that I had, my team, and to come back a world champion, something that I dreamed of all my life as a kid. My dreams came true that one night. And this is definitely up there because this is a fight that's been talked about for many years. This is a fight that when I walk in the store, my kids watching YouTube, everybody asking me, when you fight Spence? When you fight Spence? Dad, these dudes say you're scared of Spence. So me always having to hear this guy again, it's like a breath of fresh air that I get to breathe because we finally did it, and now it's going to get over.
Terence, straight back here, all the way to the back. Dan Radio from Big Fight Weekend. Congratulations, incredible performance from you tonight. My question for you is, you won so easily, and he says he wants the rematch. How do you go about getting yourself up once again to take on a guy you just completely destroyed?
Well, one thing about me, I don't take no fighter lightly. So I'm always up for each and every one of the fighters that I'm facing. Y'all know that from the past my performances, how I come in the ring 110% prepared every time I step foot in the ring.
And just one other question for you. Once you get past Errol, once that chapter is closed and you have the rematch, have you even allowed yourself a moment to think at any time, like what else is out there for you? Is there a championship at 54, a specific fighter, perhaps middleweight someday? What other sort of goals do you have besides you've done so much already?
I don't know. In 2 months, I'll be 36 years old. I've been boxing since I was 7 years old. I've been doing sports all my life since I was 7. I don't know. I gotta sit down with my team and talk about the future.
All right, so now we have a very special presentation to award Terence Crawford, the undisputed welterweight champion of the world for the first time in the full belt there. We have the legendary Ring Magazine Championship to be presented to Terence Crawford of Omaha, Nebraska. Terence, when you see that, the lineage, and now it belongs to you.
Let's see it, Terence. I love it, man.
Show it to us.
I wish they could take the original, but It is what it is.
Hold it up.
See it. Fighter have a division. And it's right here. So for all you guys that doubted me, for all you guys that said I was too small, I was actually too strong. And now everybody, you know, they get to witness greatness, like I said before, and it's the Terence Crawford era.
Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to Terence Crawford, Ryan Womack, McIntyre, the entire Crawford team. Congratulations, guys. All the best, and thank you very much to all the media for covering Spence Crawford Fight Weekend. Thank you so much for joining us here in Las Vegas. What a historic night, as Terence Crawford is the undisputed welterweight champion of the world for the first time in the four-belt era, the first male boxer to be undisputed in two divisions. Terence Crawford remaining undefeated here tonight in Las Vegas. Congratulations to Terence Crawford, and thank you to the media for joining us tonight.
Sugar Ray Robinson, Willie Pep, Joe Louis, Reed Magazine 3 times. 3 times! Terence Crawford era. Y'all better bow down and apologize. Apologize.
Tell him, Bernie.
Turn them into believers, you understand? Who we praise? The man upstairs, he gives us the glory. Here he is. That's right, people's champ. You can't pay for this. You can't pay for this.
Yes, man. I'll be there.
Bye, Johnny. It was so nice meeting you. See you again
soon. Omaha, let's go! Hey, grass bud. Philly in the building. So cool. Omaha. Hey.
The bell too. More overtime for this one, bro.
You hear me? Two-time undisputed. Tell him, Chief.
Yeah. Wait, you gotta wait. Get on my back. I was like, what is that doing?
Yeah. You gotta make it understand. Tell him, Bernie. You know what I tell you now. Eat the words, Ella. You say you caught it. Work, right?
So that's how we start working with the speed. And then we can do better than that. So we can take over.
But Haney still has to keep his belt to 35.
Yeah, I told him that. Now that game have to get paid for overtime.
I hope he gets that with Loma.
Lomachenko not gonna fight me unless probably you would have.
No, it's not about that. What do you tell Spence tonight?
I'm so happy, man. I'm so happy. How it play out? You know how it play out. We dominate. It's the Terence Crawford era. It ain't the Charlo era. It ain't the Fist era.
I told you stop hating on my man.
I'm promoting a fight.
I like you, Ellie. You can't be hating on my man.
No more hate. Hey, he's the best pound for pound. He did his thing.
He's the best fighter in the world right now.
Congratulations.
I like Bud to sit back, enjoy the food.
Best in the world. Bernie. Pound for pound. Bernie. People's champ. Ernesto. People's champ.
Platícanos la experiencia de estar en el equipo.
People's champ.
Probably will.
People's champ.
Let me tell you this.
Bud was 156 pounds 3 weeks ago. We had to make him never no weight situation. He was 156 pounds. You think you'll fight him 3 weeks ago? We had to make him eat up to endure those workouts. When he fought Lucas, like, when he come up them layoffs and start slow.
También porque no nos han habido dado las oportunidades con los oponentes, que mucha gente creía que son mejores que Crawford. Entonces, en cierta parte tienen razón, pero demostramos que Crawford es el mejor.
Felicidades por todo lo que han logrado y un saludo a toda tu gente de Guatemala, por favor.
Claro que sí, a la gente de Guatemala y al boxeo Varillas.
Dig those shots. Stepping a little bit, like we worked on all that, man. That's all in the gym. Thank you.
Talk about just how well the game plan worked, man.
Guys, there's no more questions. We've had a lot of press, a big week. Congratulations to the team. You guys did a fantastic job.
He's my guy.
Please, but they want us to wrap up.
Okay.
We're into overtime here. Yep.
Just what about the game plan worked like to perfection? Would you say?
Man, we got multiple game plans. We got multiple adjustments. Like Bud is just one of those guys. Like I said in the previous interview, his interviews, the Ron's interview. I said he got a toolbox. You gotta know when to use the right tool at the right time. And when you got a guy that got a toolbox like that, that's all you got to coach to. It's easy. You know what I mean? It's easy.
Could you expect the fight to get finished soon?
Okay. I want to do a couple here, and that's it.
I thought it might have been a little more competitive earlier.
Guys, 2 questions, and then I'm pulling it.
Late, but it just, I think he felt that power. He felt that punch. He felt the jab. I seen his face. He looked like, oh shit, this motherfucker can really hit. So then when he landed the first couple big shots, then he dropped him. I think his spirits kind of went down. I think he kind of, after that first drop, he was like, oh shit, I ain't never been dropped. You know what I mean? So,
congrats,
what's up, Ron?
Congrats very much.
Seeing the fact that there was a jabbing match in the beginning, but
yeah.
what's kind of part of the plan to take away the jab? Because after the jab, it seemed like he had nothing.
We figured with Spence, everything works off that jab. He sets everything up off that jab, and it's a good, strong jab. And he jabs you, jabs your arms, keeps you in place so he can dig them underneath shots, some good body punches that he throws. So we just want to beat him to the punch with the jab, a good timing jab. He got a good pushing little power jab. That's a good jab for people that don't, but Bud just was a good timing jab. You know what I mean? Once we got his timing, then our jab was beating his jab. And then we got to sit down on our jab and hit him with power jabs. So I think that set everything up and made him a little, you know what I mean, like, not like it is, but I don't know the right word, a little like he didn't.
Coming to consideration tonight, the counterpunch today.
The counterpunch, when you see after about the 3rd or 4th round, you can see all his punches coming. You know what I mean? He started getting a little desperate. He got knocked down. He came out hot the next round. Then he slowed down again after the blood started touching him again. Then you see him, he got hard. So he was trying. He tried to sit down and load up and try to get it back. And it just, when people load up shots, and he usually don't load up shots, but when you load up shots, you got a little jerk. You know what I mean? He got a little tail. So he was able to catch them in between some shots and, ultimately break them down. But, hey, I love y'all. Thank y'all for...
How big of a victory is this for Nebraska?
It's a very vindicated. It's a huge victory for Nebraska, man. Nebraska sports, period. We don't have a pro team. Bud is our pro team. So, I mean, it's a great night, man. And I don't even like to sit here and talk bad about Errol. Y'all know my demeanor. I'm calm. You know what I mean? I got a lot of respect for Derek. I got a lot of love for Errol. I wish, if he's not in the ring with us, I want him to win. He's one of my favorite fighters to watch. You know what I'm saying? So I just well wishes for his team. You know what I mean? Well wishes for him. Bounce back, get stronger, and come back strong. We want to be inducted in the Hall of Fame at the same time. You know what I'm saying? I want to do that type of shit. So well wishes to Errol Spence and his team, man.
Red, you've known Crawford since he was about 12 years old. So this moment is a particularly special one for you. Describe the emotion for you watching a young man turn into a man and now to an undisputed 2-time undisputed champion.
I shed some tears like it was Scotland all over again. I shed a few tears in there. You know what I mean? And I think that the amount of Twitter and fan bases and YouTube that all that came out with emotion. I think they disrespected us. They talked, there's a lot of fanboying going on out there. The fan bases type shit. So I think that right there, it's great for us as a team to win that legacy 2-time undisputed, 3-time lineal. It's great for us. it was also another great feeling to shut everybody up. You know what I mean? Vindicated. He ain't never fought nobody. Who was this guy? Who was that guy? We would knock those guys out too. We would be doing so. It was just great to do that on this level, man. Hey, I love y'all.
How are you gonna celebrate?
Go to my room. I ordered to fight myself, so I'm gonna watch
Bud
it.
said when I stop him, they're gonna say he too little, too small to stay at 147. Coming up to this room, people were saying he was weight training.
No bad.
You think they're gonna make excuses?
They said he was weight training against you guys. They were saying the same thing. People want to switch the narrative. They want to push the goalposts back. They want to switch everything up. But I guarantee you go look at those tweets. You're going to look at those Facebook groups, you're going to look at those YouTubes. Let's see how fast they can delete them, because they wasn't making no excuses before. In the build-up, it was this, and this. Now, you know, it's excuse, but they can't make none. You know what I mean? That makes me feel good.
Did you expect things to be so one-sided tonight, though?
I didn't expect it to be one-sided so soon. I felt like he was going to pull away from him a little bit later, like mid to late. I thought he was going to pull away from him a little later, but Bud was just on the shit. I mean, we talked about it. I mean, we know we're the B-side. We know we got 12 rounds. We're not guaranteed a rematch. We're not guaranteed the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Because we know we coming in on the B-side of things. So we knew we got to win every round. We couldn't take no knockdowns, no kind of silly shit for any kind of wave offs or any kind of weird shit. So our whole mindset was just serious business. So, you know, we just took care of business.
What would be different at 154?
It'll be the same. I feel like it would be the same. I mean, Bud is strong. Y'all see, Bud is a strong kid, and I think he proved that tonight. So,
what do you think the team's interest level in Jamel Charlo is at this point?
It's very high. He got business to handle with Canelo, and if you want to come back down, I don't know if he's vacating or what he's doing, but you know, like Bud said up there, you got to get with us, get with his team, get with his advisory. You know what I mean, and see what the options is, and then we'll go from there. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm seeing this Andy Ruiz. He said this looked like a Mayweather versus Gotti type of performance. What do you think of that kind of confidence?
That was brutal. That was brutal. Hey, I mean, shout out to Andy Ruiz. I don't want to. That's why I don't want to really like dog Errol. I really don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope he's okay. I hope he bounces back and moves up the way and wins more titles. You know what I mean? I got a lot of care, love, and respect for him. So I just hope that everything is all right with him.
Thank you guys.
I mean, y'all know Bernie Wild. They don't tell him what he gonna do. He gonna do something.
Take it easy, man.
That boy Bud is special. Woo! That boy's special, man. Hey, man, I love it anyway. But I think Bud just did it. That boy pound for pound in my books. That's just me. Subjective list. Well deserved. No worries.
You're good. If you need a place to go, media time.
Oh, no, that's perfect. Thanks. I'll get going. special. We may have to relocate soon, so we'll be back. Don't leave. I'm not saying we're leaving in a second. What I'm saying is if we stay in here, we might disconnect and go to the tent and talk a little bit more Crawford Spence. So there might be a little inner. Man. Woo! My boy Terence, man. Two-time. Let's see. You can sleep tomorrow, all right? He made that easy. He made that easy work.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Yep. I think we're still good, right? We're still good, right? We're still rocking live. Fuck it. Let's go. I think I might be able to take you guys.
Radio. Your camera.
TC, man. We're built different. Alright, let's see. Exit is over there. Thank you. Way to go. Hey. Yo, why is everyone calling the truth? Fuck that, man. TC was the fight. Terence was the fight. That boy. You look that respected, man. I mean, I know you've been around for and all that stuff, but that belongs up there. That belongs. That was incredible. No, he challenged him in his own game. Challenged him in his own game. Did everything better. Wasn't a thing better. Yeah. All right, Lance.
See you to leave?
Huh?
You looking to leave?
Yeah. That's the best way? Oh, okay.
I don't either, so that's why I'm trying to get everyone out of here.
Alright, I'm taking y'all with me. know, huh? I want y'all to see something real quick. Right before I head out. See that? Alright. Sheesh. That's what it looks like, yo. That's what it looks like in here. Sorry if the connection's a little choppy, just because I'm using my phone connection. And I'm live, man. So I thought it was a one-sided beatdown. TC, man. He's a bad boy, man. Omaha. Going through this T-Mobile arena. That's where all the fighters come out, just so y'all know. Give you guys a little bit of insight. This is where all the fighters come through. This is and we get all these cool ass reactions. They come out from here. Then they come out here, and that's where they get mobbed. So I'm live. I'm live. It's not me.
I think it's good for the fight. It's going to be great.
I got a quick question. Can you do my boy Mike's theme song?
Mike's theme song? Which one?
Mike. Yeah, that's me. I'm Ron. I'm Ron G.
Oh, you Ron J?
Yeah. Yeah, I know he's super celebrating, so you know.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
I'm boys, bro.
Hey, you know he already screaming with your intro.
I got my credential. You going to the meeting with him?
Yeah. It's over there. That big white tent. And you know he's celebrating.
That's why I'm trying to tell you.
Right here?
That's one to 8. Sorry guys, I'm sorry.
Get this army right. I can be better man. Hey, thank you, sir.
Awesome, appreciate it. Thank you. Hey. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hey, buddy. Great fight. That was incredible.
Yeah, I'm going at the front of the media's head.
I don't know if you're drinking that. You want a beer?
I don't feel like
Alright, y'all. Taking you guys to the tent. Alright. Let's get to work, guys. Let's see. I'm still connected with you? I think I am. Oh, shout out to 5G internet connection because this one happened without it. I got 6%, so give me a second. Gotta make sure my phone don't die. Yo, honestly, and this is me just being like a little, just like a fan. When he came out to Eminem, it's kind of like that moment where you're like, first off, did he really get Eminem to do a ring walk? And then right after that, man, it just felt special, bro. Everything about that just felt special. Oh.
Back in New York.
Right? What do you guys think about that Eminem ring walk? That shit was epic. Oh shit, let me charge my phone real quick. Let me try and have this dial. Yes, sir. And you know what, honestly, honestly, like, look. Props to TC, but you got to give props to Spence. Like, really, at the end of the day, like, just like Coach Red said, it's like, you know, you got to have a great fighter so that you can really see how great another fighter is. So because Spence was bullying everyone, dominating the division, strap season, taking everyone's stuff, rightfully so, that's why this fight was so big. And because he was that of a fighter and he just armed him and just made it look like that, that's when you can really appreciate how great somebody is, because they rise to the occasion. No, this ain't a press conference. This is your neighborhood FightHype guy. Just kicking it, keeping it alive, so you guys can have a big shot of people you can talk to while I work. So, yeah. No other press conference. But you know what though, like legit respect to Spence. Like, how many fighters would have just? He had like 10 ways to just say fuck it. Like, I'm done. Like, I can't win. But he continued. Like, dude, he really wanted that undisputed belt. So I mean, people gotta understand. For people to be able to have an amazing performance, you have to be able to have someone that can withstand punishment and take damage. Because if you can't, then it's just like a first round knockout, which almost looked like a second round knockout actually. But yeah, that was special. Omaha really has his own angel, his own darling. I mean, look at that. You really have to appreciate someone like that. We like Terence said, we're officially in Terence Crawford era now. We have removed ourselves from an era.
Early stoppage, Ron?
You said what?
Early stoppage?
What stoppage?
Early stoppage?
It should have been earlier. It should have been earlier. I honestly, I didn't think, you know, just so you know I'm live, just so if you want to start spilling a whole bunch of stuff.
You what?
No, I'm live, so just... You could talk, just watch what you say. You want to...
Oh, you want me to let out your secrets, huh?
Oh, I want you to let out your secrets to the whole world.
Ron is a horrible human being.
You're good. That was a special performance, man. What'd you think? What'd you think about the fight?
Me?
Yeah. There's about 5,000 people in here.
Yes. Terence was very impressive, man. That was quite a display. I think Errol didn't seem like he had any answers for it once he realized his strength wasn't going to do it, not be enough.
Hold on, y'all. I think I'm going to try to switch to a different internet connection, so bear with me. If it chops out for a second, it's just temporary, so just kick it. Yeah, just so you know, Ben, I am doing that. Okay, and I'm doing it in that order. Can you actually jump in the live so that I can just go piss so that I can upload? Yeah, definitely. Hit up the trainer and see, later on and see. Next week, maybe. Yeah. Hey, I'll hit you up later. We'll talk. We'll just talk. I'll hit you up later. We don't really want to talk. Just now? All right, man.
Oh, there you go. I was talking with Jesse.
All right. Just a second.
You don't want to admit it, but he's from Dallas. I've been talking with fighters like that for 4 years. Literally.
just curious what you guys think. Where do you guys think this fight goes? What do you think Spence should do? What do you think Bud should do? What's up? You guys even want a rematch?
Oh, sorry. Big time. Big time.
You guys want the rematch? Because I don't think the rematch. I think honestly, too, I think we should just move on. Let these guys go to 154. Let Spence fight some guys, kind of get a tune-up, kind of, and just if they do it again, they do it again. There's TMA. So which of them? I'm already got the ball.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. You owe me $1.
I disagree.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yes. He know how else. I thought maybe that want to say false shit and have no repercussions. Zero. And people keep talking to their dumbass.
Get on your computer. I gotta use this volume of computer. I need this because Matt told me that particular card. Told me don't need to bring the questions. This one where it is.
I'm talking about the strength of the cars, though.
And it's got a global effect.
It's not
It's okay.
All right, good job, Phil. Good job, really outside. You know, you did great. Yeah, no worries. The only thing is we have an hour, so I'm just trying to cut that speed up. Just get on right
What's happening?
All right, y'all. There's Sean.
What's happening, chat?
You guys can chit chat.
Oh, chat, what's going on, man? What's going on? What a performance by Terence Crawford. I picked him to win by knockout and because of his counterpunching, which was the case tonight, but not even me or I think anybody picking Crawford really expected this tonight. He wound up turning this fight into his Floyd Mayweather Arturo Gatti kind of performance. And it was thought that maybe Inoue looked just a little too sensational last Tuesday morning, and Crawford would have to pull out something extremely special to match Inoue and to take the pound-for-pound spot away from him. And it looks like he did just that tonight. That was, when you consider that Spence is a more accomplished fighter than Stephen Fulton, you know, you would have to say, based on level of opposition, they were both equally as dominant and special, that Crawford ranks a little bit above having beaten Spence as opposed to Fulton, who's an excellent fighter too. But I did not expect Crawford to out-jab Errol Spence from round one. He had the better jab tonight. His jab was like a piston. Spence was pushing his jab. He had no real snap on his punches tonight. He did not look as strong as he did against Yordenis Ugas last April. That inactivity hurt him. The weight cut hurt him. And he was just in against a much better fighter. Crawford was not just a better counterpuncher, but again, he really surprised from round one by having the better jab. And even if you scored that round for Spence, he set the tone immediately by out-jabbing Spence. That was supposed to be Spence's strength. And Shakur Stevenson told us here on FightHype that that was the key to the fight for Crawford, was taking away Spence's jab. And I thought before the fight he might take it away by switching orthodox and getting his straight right hand going, which is a southpaw killer in the orthodox stance, the straight right hand. He came out southpaw from the very first second and never switched. He always starts off orthodox and then switches southpaw at some point. And he started the whole fight southpaw and out-jabbed Spence from round one. And then the counters came early and dropped Spence in round two. After out-jabbing Spence in round one, he comes over the top with a straight left hand over Spence's lazy jab, and then he finishes up with a 2-1 and gets the first knockdown. This fight probably should have been stopped in the 7th round when Spence suffered 2 knockdowns. I thought Derek James, who's obviously a great trainer, the reigning trainer of the year, thought he was a little too prideful for his fighter tonight when it was clear that it wasn't their night. And Spence continued to go out there in the 8th and 9th and take a lot of punishment. But credit to Spence for his game isn't as tough as he was. He was willing to go out on his shield, and the referee stopped it. Could have been stopped sooner, in my opinion. But, you know, I said about Inoue and Fulton that was one of the best performances I've seen in a long time, that it was Mayweather, Corrales, Hopkins, Trinidad-esque. And that's what Terence Crawford was. He was a 10 out of 10 performance. This will pretty much easily go down as one of the great performances in all of boxing history. And now Terence becomes, in the 4-belt era, the first 2-time undisputed champion in the 4-belt era in men's boxing. Clarissa Shields did it in women's boxing. And, you know, judging by his comments in the post-fight, he brought up Jermell Charlo in the first minute or two of this post-fight unsolicited. So that would seem like, you know, he would be the only fighter, male or female, to be a 3-time undisputed champion if he could fight Charlo. Charlo, coming off a loss, would still be undisputed at 54. I would love the Boots Ennis fight, me personally. I know Ennis is inexperienced, big time, in comparison to Crawford, but he's just such an excellent talent. Actually, even more gifted than Terence Crawford. I think he has a little bit heavier hands, and unlike Spence, who had heavy hands, he has snap. He has snap to go with those heavy hands. And he's naturally a little bigger than Crawford, and one of the rare fighters that can match Crawford's speed and gifts. So I would love that. That's easily, no question about it. That's easily the best fight at welterweight, Crawford and Boots. But if you're Bud Crawford, you probably want to become the first undisputed 3-time champion. You've talked a lot of shit with Jermell Charlo back and forth. That's definitely the more legacy-enhancing fight. But there's no better fight at welterweight, not even close, than Crawford versus Boots Ennis. So, got some super chats coming my way. Let me see. Adrian Wells said, "How you doing, Sean? What was your favorite interview so far in Vegas?" I enjoyed talking with Shakur the day before the fight, and him being so confident that Bud would win and explaining how Bud would take away the jab and that would be the key to the fight. And I enjoyed Shakur's insights. It didn't come off that he was just saying it because he's Bud's friend. He I think he bet Yella Beezy $25,000, so he knew what was going to happen. And then I got a super chat from Adrian Wells again. Thank you, brother. Saying, Sean, I'm eating crow. You were right. Great performance. Errol will get back at 154. And the new undisputed welterweight champion of the world, Terence Aquaman Crawford. Well said, Adrian Wells. Nothing wrong with eating some crow. I'm not too good at eating crow because I feel like I'm supposed to get every fight right. That's why I get the, like I got to earn my right, especially not having been a former professional fighter. You got to pick them right if you're going to be talking about boxing and you didn't fight professionally before. But yeah, I definitely picked Crawford by knockout for months. And I said it was going to be because of the counterpunching, but I thought Spence was going to get off to a much better start tonight. I thought his jab was going to give Crawford issues, and it just didn't. He got out-jabbed from round one, and it was a wrap from there. It was a wrap from there. So, yeah, chat, this was a historic week to cover. This is the media tent. A lot of tired faces and people who've been working hard all week, our colleagues and everybody throughout. Want to give a big shout out to the man who's been holding this whole live off camera. Just doing amazing work for FightHype all week. But yeah, you're...
Man, fuck that humble shit.
Yeah.
All right, Sean.
Yeah. No. I'm saying I called it. I called it. I tried to tell y'all, but I'll save that for tomorrow morning.
The guy behind the camera, Ron.
Hold on, Ron. Why don't you put the camera? Why don't you go ahead and pop off there?
TC did his thing. He popped off. Okay, Sean will be politically correct. Terence Crawford did his thing. All right, did his thing.
While we're on that note, Ron,
pound for pound. Anyways, number two.
You know, a lot of people like to run with my words out of context and go crazy with me about the Inoue stuff. I picked Inoue to beat Fulton. I picked Benavidez to beat Plant. I picked Tank to beat Ryan. I picked Haney to beat Lomachenko. And tonight I picked Crawford to beat Spence. And big fights this year, your boys like Terence Crawford. He's undefeated. So, all right, we call that a douchebag. When you're being a douchebag and you're bragging, call that a douchebag. And your boy is douchebragging right now. So, it's 11 at night after the fight, and we're douchebragging on FightHype Live. That's how that goes. After you get the fight right, after you get every big fight right this year, that's what you do. You become unbearable. But
respect to Spence.
Of course, respect to Spence. You know, I can't stand it when we bash fighters. I can't stand it when we bash fighters. Period. That's part of why I had to give Inoue so much praise after what people did with me, a week or two ago. So I'm not here to discredit guys, but no, Spence is still gonna go down as a unified welterweight champion. Got 3 of the 4 belts. Had a solid resume throughout his welterweight run, and credit to Spence because he was offered to fight Keith Thurman at 154. I'm speculating a little. I don't know this for a fact, but a lot of people believe that's what his handlers at PBC really wanted for him, was to bypass this Crawford fight, who was being extremely tough with them in negotiations. And that was Crawford not being dictated to all along. He was his own. I don't want to quite say he was the boss in negotiations, but he held his dick and never got fully dictated to. He held out, got the fight in on BLK Prime, comes back, gets a bigger percentage, gets Spence to agree to a coin toss, lets it be known I'm not just going to be this B-side that gets pushed around. And then he comes in tonight and he does what he does. But credit to Spence, who was willing to go out on his shield, and credit to Spence, who may or may not have, but he may have bypassed the advice of his people, of his handlers, to give the fans what they wanted and to prove to himself just how great he was or was not, and I mentioned that this was Bud Crawford's Mayweather Gotti. Arturo Gotti, maybe like Errol Spence, was actually advised not to fight Floyd Mayweather, but Gotti wanted that fight. Gotti wasn't content just being a big ticket seller. He wanted to know where he really stood. And that's what allowed Mayweather to have that opportunity, and that's what allowed Bud Crawford to have that opportunity tonight. So, of course, credit to the big fish, Errol Spence, but Crawford was the better man tonight. So let me see. Got a super chat I got to get to here. Who got hands? BKNY. Shout out to Brooklyn, baby, all the way from Bensonhurst to Flatbush and Bed-Stuy and Brownsville. No difference at 154. timing. Bud can move up no problem. That was ugly. Respect to Spence for going out on his shield. Yeah, there is going to be no difference at 154 pounds. I don't need to see this again. Again, the only fights I want to see Crawford in is Ennis at 47 or Charlo at 54. And if I'm being honest, I even prefer the Ennis fight a little bit over a chance of being 3-time undisputed. I love the Charlo fight too, but if Charlo loses to Canelo like he is expected to do, even while being undisputed, some luster is taken off of him as a champion, even though he wouldn't lose in his own weight class in that scenario, but it never hits quite the same when you're fighting a guy coming off a loss. Ennis is a little bit of the boogeyman at welterweight. So I would love to see that fight. They're very similar in that they're great at catching you in between punches. They're very fast. They punch hard with snap at the end of the shots. I think Ennis is a little bigger, and at 26, a little more gifted than Crawford. But one thing about Crawford, I gotta say, I was worried about his legs coming into this fight. I kept comparing him to 1998 Michael Jordan and 2010 Kobe Bryant, meaning he's in his prime, but he's at the end of his prime. And tonight, he had by far his best showing at welterweight against by far his best opponent. He looked so much better tonight than he did against Sean Porter, and so much better than he did against David Avanesian. Crawford was beginning to get hit more and more often and wasn't using his legs as much. Tonight, he used his legs very well. Not excessive movement at all, just enough movement to step back, to take little half steps off, give the angle, still be in range to counter with bad intentions. And he really turned the clock back tonight and looked like he was in his 20s again, as opposed to the guy that has been getting hit against Kaviaskis and Benavidez even, and Porter, and even Avanesian hit him with a right hand. He was much sharper on defense tonight, and his legs looked very good. This was the best performance of his career. I always said that Jeff Horn was the best performance of his career, but this blows that out of the water given Spence's level. So just tip your hats for Terence Crawford, man. He did his thing. Let's see here. Don't want to miss anybody here. Oh, got another super chat. Hold up. So, who got hands? BKNY. Thank you again, brother. Shout out to Brooklyn. Bud's inside game was the difference. Half step back to create enough space and not smother punches inside with Spence. Yeah, once he out-jabbed Spence and had his distance down and had Spence figured out so early in the fight. And yeah, I mean, Spence tonight had no real snap on his shots. Nothing came out with great placement. A lot of clubbing shots with not a lot of speed or snap on them. Yeah, Spence he landed an overhand left in either the fourth or the fifth, and he landed a couple of body shots in that same round just to let Bud know, you may have dropped me a few times here and my face is busting up, but I'm still dangerous in here. I'm still strong, and you don't want to just stand in front of me. And Crawford was extremely focused and really was perfect in being careful, but not too careful. He was great at that tonight. And because at any moment in the fourth, fifth, or sixth, he could have started getting a little reckless, felt like this guy's done. But Spence would come on with a body shot here and there just to keep Crawford tight and respectful. And Crawford stayed sharp throughout. And that's why he didn't give up really any free shots tonight. Maybe he got hit with a shot or two he didn't need to in the fourth or the fifth, but outside of that, he gave nothing up for free tonight. So he gave nothing up for, he was on his P's and Q's. So he really rose to this occasion and cemented his legacy. There's no questions about Crawford now. If he hadn't won this fight, it may not be fair, but his whole career would have been invalidated. He would have been known as one of the weakest undisputed champions ever from beating Ndongo and Postal. People would have mentioned at lightweight he beat Ricky Burns but never unified, and by becoming undisputed at welterweight and winning the biggest fight of the last 5 or 6 years, it lets all those other accomplishments, 3 divisions, undisputed at 140, 40-0, all just fall into place. And you know, this just solidifies everything. So let me see here.
Can I give you a up and close super chat question?
Yes, please.
let's talk about the trainers. I know Crawford is going to get the fighter award, but does this now confirm that Bomac, like you were saying?
Bomac's always been a hell of a trainer. That if you thought Bomac was a one-fighter trainer, then how did he bring Jamel Herring back from the dead to become world champion? In a fight, I think he may have even been an underdog in Kazuto Ito in San Diego. And then how the hell did he get any man that can, no offense, I got a lot of respect for all fighters, but any man that can turn Rob Brandt into a world champion, given Rob Brandt's limitations, he's all hard. He's a great guy, very smart man, classy man, tough as nails, but a limited talent, not a great talent at the elite level. And the fact that Bomac got him to a world title, and then youngsters like Keyshawn Davis, who is one of the best young prospects in boxing, they flock to Bomac.
And his brothers,
Yeah, and his brothers, DB3, right, Calvin. But all you needed to do was look at the work he did with Jamel Herring, bringing him back from the dead, and Rob Brandt, making them both world champions. I don't know how many trainers in the sport could have took those guys and got them to world titles. So, yeah, and a huge shout, Red Spikes, big shout out to Red Spikes. Maybe the most, well, no, Isao Diegas is so humble. It's hard to be more humble than him. But Isao Diegas and Red Spikes, super humble. Other guys would maybe want more credit, but they don't. They're just happy to contribute. And Isao Diegas, the Mexican trainer of Crawford, is so underrated. And I was so happy talking to him at the media day when he revealed to me, because I told him, I said, you know who your guy reminds me of, Bud Crawford? I said, he actually reminds me of Juan Manuel Marquez a little bit. They're different. Crawford's faster. He's got long arms, better feet. But Marquez, like Crawford, was an offensive counterpuncher. He's not a step back pop shot counterpuncher. He's trying to put shots together and get the knockout off the counters. And Crawford, his trainer Isao Diegas, he told me that the guy he studied the most as a trainer was Juan Manuel Marquez, and he would literally mimic some of his movements to teach the Bud on the pads. And then he saw Marquez a couple weeks ago, a week before I saw him at the media workout, and he said that Marquez had glowing words for Crawford as a counterpuncher, and that he's the best counterpuncher since himself. I agree with that. So shout out to Isao Diegas for that counterpunching prowess that he helped add into Bud's arsenal since he was a kid. So Steve Nash hasn't had a fight. We don't know that. I mean, Steve Nash might have had some fights. We don't know that. We weren't in the locker room. Steve Nash might have fought Jason Richardson over what happened with the baby mama. We don't know that. We don't know that. Who said Steve Nash hasn't had a fight? Real Spill TV? We don't know that. And if you're referencing me as Steve Nash, I had some fights. Lost some, won some, but can't fight anything like the guys who fought tonight. But let me see here. But what an honor to cover a fight like this, to cover a week like this. Hope you guys enjoyed content we got throughout. Try to work our asses off at this thing, and it was an honor for me and Ron, I think, to be a part of this and to cover this. So. You are Steve Nash, Real Spill TV. I had a feeling that's what you meant. That's what you meant. I have had some fights. Probably about 500 in my life. If we're including the ass whoopings I took growing up, maybe a little below 500. But it was way below 500. And then in my teenage years, I got, I might actually be 500. I don't know. I didn't keep count. They're calling me Steve Nash.
I was tuned out.
Calling me Steve Nash. I usually get Ashton Kutcher. Maybe sometimes Drake Bell. I hate the Drake Bell one. Justin Bieber has been offered up a few times, but I most prefer the Ashton Kutcher one. Steve Nash I haven't heard since high school when I played basketball in gym class, and yeah, but I did tell you so, and I have told you so on every big fight this year. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So that's about it, man. I gotta save something for tomorrow. Shaggy is one I've been trying to escape since middle school, but it's not leaving. if I hate it, see Alex, if I hate it that much, I probably have to cut this hair, and I'm not willing to do that, so I'll have to accept the Shaggy comparisons, unfortunately. Sean ain't got no jumper. No jumper. No jumper. A lot of dribbling around and getting to the rim and not having any scoring ability to actually convert a layup or hit a jump shot, but I could dribble my ass off around just dribble, go nowhere with it, and then kick it out to someone for three. And since this is high school gym class we're referencing, nobody ever actually made the three. But they were open, and I did get into the paint and kick it out, but yeah. Someone said big nose. I am Italian, and we tend to have big noses. It comes with the territory. I am ready to go home and celebrate by smoking weed. Just waiting on that moment.
Bro, did they give him a prime necklace drink or?
See, I was confused. I didn't know if he wore a prime necklace. I thought he may have wore prime as if to say, I'm in my prime tonight.
I mean, maybe that's prime drink.
He's getting that marketing money. Is that what he's doing?
And you know what's the craziest thing? I don't think that's highlighted. Obviously, like the A-side, B-side stuff, Sean. But what did you think? It was very pro Bud. Like it felt like he was, like he owned it. Like,
you mean the crowd or what?
The crowd, the ring walk.
I think there may have even been a slightly more Spence fans, but they weren't as confident in their guy. They wanted him to win. They backed him to win. Terence Crawford fans kind of knew he was going to win this fight. And so even though I think there was actually a little bit more Spence fans in the audience tonight, they weren't as loud as the Crawford fans who knew their guy was going to win tonight. And I think Spence fans hoped their guy was going to win tonight. So, oh man, Jamin got a couple super chats from Brian and Sarah Huang. Thank you so much. Love the couples that joined the chat saying, what were you most surprised for from both fighters? And where does Errol go from here? What do you think this will do to his psyche? Well, I think Spence is a guy that has been cozy with the fruit of his spoils. I think he has these extended talks with Heyman that make him very business oriented and business minded, and there's obviously nothing wrong with that, as Floyd taught. But I think it may have softened him a little bit. He was talking too much about money and A-side type of stuff heading into this fight. When all that's out the window once the contract's signed, it's time to be a fighter. And the businessman stuff, you handle that at negotiations. And even at the weigh-in, he said, you should thank me for making this fight. Still talking that A-side stuff when it's like, brother, the fight's tomorrow. That shit is out the window now. But what surprised, but that said, I think his psyche, he's a mentally strong man and a mentally strong fighter. And I think he can bounce back from this. But outside of the Ugas fight, once he got going after the first couple rounds, Spence, since the Porter fight, hasn't been as dominant. Spence's peak to me was Kell Brook to Mikey Garcia. He had 4 fights in that span in his peak. It was Kell Brook, Carlos Ocampo, Lamont Peterson, and Mikey Garcia. Those 4 fights were Spence at his peak. And then starting even in the Sean Porter fight, he started to look not as strong at the weight. He got that back in the Ugas fight, not in the Danny Garcia fight. He was very strong at the weight, but he wasn't as strong tonight as he was in the Ugas fight. And I said that on the live this morning before comparing how he looked at the weigh-ins. On Crawford's side, what surprised me was just how easily he was able to out-jab Spence. Thought very highly of Spence's jab. And Crawford, to me, has usually never truly been a jabber. He's always had a good jab out of both stances, but he'll double it up to set things up. Power shots. He hasn't really been too focused on his jab. He uses it as a means to an end to get other stuff done. But he out-jabbed Spence with a piston jab from round 1, and that surprised me. So thank you so much for the super chat. Where will Errol go here? He's got to go to 54. I would favor Tim Tszyu over him. Tim Tszyu is just a little faster and snappier in his 20s. Spence is in his 30s. If Spence can somehow rediscover the form he had in 2018, 2019, then he could give anybody a run for their money at 54. But right now, based on what I saw tonight, I have to favor Tim Tszyu over him. And then Jameson Childress, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat and always joining us. Jameson Childress with the super chat said, people didn't want to see a third Fury Wilder fight, and that became an all-time classic. Let's not write off a rematch at 154. Salute to you, Sean. Jameson, very fair point. Very fair point. Wilder Fury 2 was an absolute blowout. It was just as big a blowout as tonight was. And then Wilder, by going back to the table with Malik Scott and incorporating the jab to the body in round 1 to set up a right hand up top, just a little adjustment like that made their third fight the best heavyweight fight of the new millennium. You know, Klitschko and Lennox Lewis kind of had that, and now Fury and Wilder in that third fight took it from them. So that's a fair point. I mean, that was an absolute blowout in fight 2, and Fury actually got a little bit of a 13, 14-second count on that second knockdown in round 4, so that's how close Wilder came to winning fight number 3, but Fury prevailed, showed he was the better man in those 3 fights. But that is a great point. That fight was an absolute blowout, and yet fight number 3 was amazing, the best heavyweight fight of the new millennium. So I guess maybe there's a chance that a rematch at 54 could be better than tonight, but for me, it's either Ennis at 47 or Charlo at 54. But it is just about time to wrap up. It looks like they're gonna start kicking us out soon. So, you know, I don't want them to pick me up live on stream and get embarrassed in front of y'all. Okay. Yeah, we're getting told it's about time to start going. Spence had a lot of heart tonight, says Mike Larry. Well said, he did indeed. This is about really celebrating Crawford than it would be down in Spence or anything like that. But it did show that the fundamentals are great. You know, he likened himself to Tim Duncan, the big fundamentals, said it was going to be Duncan against Garnett. But really, at the absolute elite level of boxing, for the most part, the fundamentals aren't going to be enough. Once you fight the top 0.01% of fighters, you got to have something beyond the fundamentals. Like Crawford does with his creativity, with his dynamic counterpunching and punching in between your punches and constantly adjusting. That's the sophisticated elite stuff that's a step up from even great fundamentals. That was the difference between 2 guys. You saw a real separation tonight. Errol Spence is excellent. He's very good, but I've never thought Spence is special or great. He's very, very good. Crawford's special. Crawford's great, and that's the separation you saw tonight. Do I think Shakur can be as good as Terence? I think Shakur naturally, because Crawford kept it very tight tonight, I think Shakur naturally keeps it a little tighter on defense than Crawford. He's not the puncher Crawford is. He might be even a little bit more pinpoint accurate than Crawford, who was crazy accurate tonight, but Shakur really places those shots, but he's not the puncher Crawford is. And he's still growing offensively. Loved what I saw against a come-forward guy like Yoshino. You started to see the uppercuts and the inside work and combinations. Some real good offensive stuff by Shakur. I know Yoshino was a punching bag at that level, but yeah, Shakur, he can reach the heights Crawford has. He could reach those same heights. Yes, he can. Someone said Crawford better than Floyd. Well, this is Crawford's night, but Floyd was even more special than Crawford. His gifts in speed and reflexes were even in another plane than Crawford, who's extremely fast and gifted as well, and has that great vision like Mayweather had. He sees everything, and very smart like Mayweather, can adjust to anything, and a better puncher than Mayweather at welterweight, no question about that. But Mayweather's reflexes and speed, and foot speed too, we're in another plane from even someone like Crawford, who's very gifted in those areas. Yeah, if we're doing fantasy fights, I'd still give the edge to a prime Floyd Mayweather. But Crawford, it speaks to how great he performed tonight that we got people in the chat saying they think he could be Floyd Mayweather in his prime. But Freck Hefner, thank you for the super chat, said, okay, I'm having a hard time accepting this loss due to the fact Spence has never looked that bad. I wonder if it's something mental or not. Well, I think you saw inactivity show up. I think you saw a guy who was struggling to get down to 147 show up. That's why he didn't look quite like the Errol Spence you're used to seeing. But even if he had shown up like he did against Lamont Peterson or Mikey Garcia, he doesn't move his head. He doesn't move his head, and his patterns become predictable as a fight progresses. He's not creative and dynamic like someone like Crawford. You see him do his thing for long enough. If you're someone like Terence, you figure him out, and his patterns become predictable. So, but that wasn't vintage Errol Spence tonight, to be fair to him. Thank you again, Freck Hefner. But and then Carlos Diaz with the super chat saying, Bud at 154, 3-time undisputed. If you guys go check the videos of the post-fight, that's exactly where his eyes seem to go. He was talking to Jermell Charlo in between rounds, telling him, you're next, you're next. Bernie Davis told us that. Team Crawford, Bernie Davis told us that right after the fight. And Crawford, in the first minute or two at that post-fight, brought up Jermell Charlo. So that would appear to be where he wants to go next, because 3-time undisputed is something no one's ever done. It'd be truly impressive, and it would really put him on the plane of the very big. Now he's an all-time great. But if he wants to be with the Hank Armstrongs, the Sugar Ray Robinsons, the Floyd Mayweathers and Manny Pacquiao's, and Muhammad Ali's, 3-time undisputed will certainly do that. So, and that's a tougher fight. Jermell Charlo, he beats Charlo because Charlo isn't going to be the same fight. Well, that fight only happens if Charlo loses, I think. I don't think if Charlo wins, he's going to go back down 14 pounds. I think he'll campaign where he wins the fight at if he upsets Canelo. But if he loses to Canelo, he's not beating Terence Crawford coming off a loss. He's not beating Terence Crawford coming down 14 pounds. Remember Roy Jones, heavyweight to light heavyweight, that takes something out of you. So, yeah, but in a hypothetical scenario where Charlo shows up like he did last May for the Castano rematch, then it's an extremely tough fight for Crawford, and it's going to be much more competitive than Errol Spence, because Jermell Charlo's better than Errol Spence in my opinion. He's more athletic, he's faster, he has faster feet, faster hands, naturally bigger man, a more explosive athlete, and a better jab, I think, because Spence's jab may be a little overrated, like we saw tonight. Still a great jab, but a little overrated. And Charlo has a jab that made guys like Jason Rosario have seizures on the ground when he jabbed him to the body. So I think Charlo on his best night would be a much tougher fight for Crawford, but I think with all this inactivity he's been having and the fact that he's going to move up 14 pounds, I doubt we see that Charlo at 154. So, people trying to say better than Spence, you're crazy. He is. He's a boxer puncher. He's a little less predictable. He throws more combinations. He has faster hands, and he's bigger than Errol Spence and a more explosive athlete. And he became undisputed. He got the job now against easier competition at 54 than there is at 47, but he got the job done. He became undisputed. He succeeded where Errol could not tonight. So you got to put Charlo ahead of Errol Spence. Even if Errol Spence used to give him the business in sparring. No, that's sparring. Freck Hefner said, so Spence lost all 3 belts tonight. He did. He lost all 3 belts. Crawford's undisputed, WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF, and he even got this new version of the Ring Magazine belt tonight. So, got every belt there was. Thank you, Heck. Yeah. Yep. I'll catch you later, Mikey. Catch you later, Mikey. A lot of fun, though. A lot of fun, chat. Thank you guys for always rocking with us on the live. Come here, Mikey. My man, Mike Dixon. I'll catch you later. Say peace out to the people, brother.
Peace. Hey, he's the best. He's going to be doing a lot of Raiders stuff, too, so be on the lookout.
That's right. Go Niners, but I will be covering the Raiders. I will be covering the Raiders. See you, Mikey. So I don't really got much at this point. My man Ron is busy working, and he hasn't given me the signal to stop talking yet. So if you could help me out here, chat. Size don't matter. I'm just grateful to rock with you guys, man. Love boxing. Dreams coming true. Shit comes along with it, like the last 2 weeks, but life is good, man. God is good. Oh man, another super chat from Adrian Wells. Thank you, Adrian. You didn't have to do that, brother. Very appreciative of your contributions throughout tonight. Adrian Wells, my man, says, imagine if Jermell beats Canelo and we get Jermell versus Crawford. 2-time undisputed versus 2-time undisputed would be epic. Errol versus who at 154 in December? I don't think you should rush Spence. I don't think Spence should fight in December. I think Spence is going to take the rest of the year off. I'm very certain of that. And he'll probably be back next summer. Maybe next spring, but I think next summer. He's going to take about a year off and regroup, rest. And then at 54, got to get him a tune-up. And after a tune-up, if Brian Mendoza is still hanging around and maybe he wins that rematch with Fundora, you make a Brian Mendoza fight. And then maybe you make the Tim Tszyu fight. I don't think you jump right into a Tim Tszyu fight. Again, based on what I saw tonight, Tszyu, who is younger, the natural 54, Tszyu is faster than Errol Spence. He's snappier. You know, even though he's this come-forward white guy from Australia, so you don't think that he's quicker, but he is. He has some snap and some speed on his shots, does Tim Tszyu, and he's, to me, developing into a very good pressure fighter, like his dad was a little bit. So Spence shouldn't rush right into that at 54. Just take his rest, regroup himself, reignite his passion after he rests, take a tune-up at 54, then maybe someone like Brian Mendoza, and then we could talk about becoming a top dog in that weight class again. So, and then as for Crawford and Jermell, 2-time undisputed versus 2-time undisputed, I think it's not likely. But maybe it is. It all depends. I'm interested when I talk to Jermell Charlo in the lead up to his fight with Canelo, what he would think about a Roy Jones comparison. If I ask him, hey, you know, Roy was never the same at light heavyweight after going up to heavyweight, and I realize that's 25 pounds as opposed to 14 pounds, but he was never the same. Are you really going to be a junior middleweight again, win or lose? And I look forward to talking with Jermell about that, seeing what he tells us. So, let's see here. It's funny, my boy Ant Bernal, you know, from, of course, the Porter Way, my brother's at the Porter Way, he said Boots gets smoked by Crawford just now in our little WhatsApp chat. I disagree, Ant. I don't think Boots gets smoked. I think Boots, he has the talent that if you throw him in the deep end where he hasn't swam before, he might start struggling, but then he'll figure it out. He'll start swimming. I think if you feed Boots to the sharks like Crawford, he'll start swimming, win or lose. Boots is such a great talent in every facet. Speed, power, can counter, slick, gets hit maybe a little too much, tries to be a little cute defensively at times, but Ennis is such a great talent that I do not count him out against Crawford. Even the Crawford that fought tonight. That's how high I am on just the gifts of Boots Ennis. So that's easily, it's not even close, that's easily the best fight at 147. Easily, Crawford and Ennis. I've always thought that's a better fight than Crawford and Spence. Ennis has upper body movement Spence doesn't have, and he's just gifted in speed and gifts in ways Spence has never been. Crawford would get tested in those exchanges. He would have to deal with the counter-punching of Boots, just like Boots would have to deal with his counter-punching. So, and the way Crawford out-jabbed Spence, it's not going to be as easy. Boots has a better jab than Spence. It's faster, and he could jab out of both stances, and he doubles it up to the head and to the body. Has a great jab to the body. I would love to see that fight. I'm not sure I'll ever get to see it, and that's a shame. And that's a shame, you know. I have a Freck Hefner says, thank you for the super chat, Freck again, says, put yourself in Errol Spence's shoes. How do you feel? Once you get alone by yourself after the results of tonight, do you cry? Like, I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you gotta let it out. If you gotta cry, he's gotta let it out amongst the people that he trusts and care about. And I'm sure he's devastated. I'm sure he's heartbroken. He believed he was gonna win this fight. He believed he was the big fish, and I mean, he still is, just because he lost tonight. I'm sure he's heartbroken because he put his all. He even probably went against his team, who said, hey, let's just fight Keith Thurman at 154, brother. You're having a hard time making this weight. Crawford's being real tough in negotiations. He's a super dangerous fight. Let's fight Thurman at 54, keep doing our thing over here. And Crawford and Spence said, no, I want to know how great I am. So, you know, we say don't hang your head, but it's only a natural reaction that he's going to be a little heartbroken and maybe even depressed for a little bit. But that's when he has to, not even as a pick-me-up, he has to let logic come into play and remind himself who he is as a man and a fighter. He's a three-time world champion, unified champion, an Olympian who's made life-set money, you know, with his ranch and everything. He has a life that, you know, 99.9% of men, you know, wish they accomplished as much as he had. So at the end of the day, it's no long-term reason to hang his head, but he is probably going to be heartbroken and maybe even a little depressed for a period of time. It's a natural human reaction to what happened with him tonight. So, but anytime fighters hang their head, I would have just advised them to remember who the fuck they are and what the fuck they've done. And they can't take those belts away from you. Go look in your trophy case because they're not going anywhere. No one can ever take away from you what you've accomplished as a world champion. So, I think make sure I'm not missing nothing. But yeah, brother, that's how that goes. You know, you gotta cry to your mom, cry to your woman, cry to your kids, let it out. You know, that's what they're there for. And it's nothing to be ashamed of. Made a lot of money tonight. Crawford's a bad man. None of us could have done any better than he did. We'd have done much worse. You know, so it is what it is, man. Someone's got to win. Someone's got to lose. Let's let let's let people be human, man. Let's let them make mistakes. Let's let them lose sometimes. Let's let them fuck up and move on with life. But yo, Ron, you think it's about time I wrap this up? I'm tired, brother, and I don't got too much more bullets in my chamber, man. I gotta save something for tomorrow in the morning. I am. I gotta keep going, they say. I'll keep it going. Let me start reading from people's chats then to keep this going. Let's see. Huh? What? I gotta go to bed. Steve Nash says Real Spill TV. You still in here? That's funny. Listen.
Just put it to your ear.
Phone is to my ear. Yeah. Yes. You're right. I need to bask. You're right. I'm not basking enough. I'm not. Yeah. Oh.
TC did it.
All right.
TC did it. Check this out. Terence.
No, you didn't just say that.
Listen, Terence got a whole new belt that never existed. Think about that. Ring Magazine's been out for how long?
It was. I said it was his Floyd Gotti.
And he got a brand new belt? That was like 2 Ring Magazines
He somehow
combined.
made Errol Spence look like Arturo Gotti. That's insane. Yeah. This is you're right, it is my get back.
Hey, while they on the phone, I'll talk. Okay. What's up, y'all? I don't really put my face on here too much.
I am.
That belt.
Counterpunching.
That belt was waiting 5 years for Bud. That's crazy. A whole new belt, right? A whole new belt.
Once they kick us out, all right.
Look, I'll be honest, man. The Spence that came to fight. I mean, I don't think you would have been able to stop this dude. I don't think you can stop this dude unless you had the tools to stop him.
That's what happens when you call this shit. You get to brag about it.
I think there's a certain point in this where I think most Spence fans can recognize that Bud was just a better man. And I think there's really no hate. I don't think you should hate. I think you guys should just appreciate. And really, honestly, I think the biggest thing is like the next generation. Are they taking anything from this? You know? So I'm trying to keep this dude, Sean, to stay and hang with y'all, man. Energize him, man. Send him some thought provoking.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's time. Sean. Maybe I wasn't douchey enough. I told you guys. I fucking told you. Did I not say counterpunching is gonna be the difference. Counterpunch is gonna be the difference. Counterpunch is gonna be the difference. I'm not gonna lie. When Bud landed the counterpunches in round 2, got a little unprofessional from where I was sitting. I did scream a little bit. I fucking told you. Not my best luck, but man, love you too, Highness. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Highness. Appreciate that. Crawford was toying. Well, the fight was really over by the first knockdown. The fight was over. It was going to be obvious Spence was not going to be able to get out of the way of those counters. That high guard is great and all, and keeping them off the jab with the high guard, but if you're not moving your head at all, inevitably, and their head's always on the line, no matter how good your high guard is and how good you are at keeping guys at the end of the jab, a great counterpuncher is going to find the mark because he knows where it is. You're not moving your head. So yeah, but he said, you deserve props, Sean. You said it. Thank you, Bible. Especially after that Inoue debacle where, again, I was taken out of context. I never fucking singled out Inoue, said he's special, picked him to beat Fulton, but the internet hated me for 2 weeks, and this is my get back. This is my get back. This is my get back. I told y'all. Was that convincing? I'm not that mad. But, yeah, man. So, Canelo Charlo's next. I'm gonna take a little vacay with my mom, son, and wife. Go see Tahoe for a few days, and then I got Valdez and Navarrete August 12th in Arizona. I'll be there August 12th in Arizona. What else do we got on the schedule? Right now, all that comes to mind is I got Valdez in Arizona on the 12th, and I got Charlo and Canelo back here at home on the September 30th. Chat, what fights am I probably going to be going to? Let me know what fights I'm going to, chat, because I forget sometimes, along with those two. Fabi, I'm very happy. Fabi is very happy with my get back. It was not fun having my name dragged through the mud for 2 goddamn weeks by these fucking haters. I got it from Republican and Democrat boxing Twitter. Fuck both of them. I'm the fucking best. That's why I picked these fights, right? I had to say it. I'm sorry. Fuck you, Twitter. Fuck you, Twitter. We got it popping right here on FightHype Live. Fuck you, Twitter. I have to say it. So, yeah. So, Valdez and Navarrete. You know, Valdez is the favorite, and when I break down tape, I agree with that. Navarrete starting with that uppercut from far out, even though he's got that great awkward timing and he's heavy-handed. It's a great off-rhythm awkward uppercut. I love it. But the way Wilson from Australia came inside of it with the left hook and almost knocked him out with that shot, had him badly hurt. I've always thought that's the shot Valdez is going to hurt or knock out Navarrete with, like he did Rochelle, punching in between punches with the short, compact left hook as the other guy opens up from too far out with the uppercut. So I agree with favoring Valdez, but then part of me is like, Navarrete's 28, Valdez is 32. Valdez is always in a tough fight. He's always taking punishment. And Navarrete hasn't been in this many wars. And if Valdez isn't on his P's and Q's that night like he was against Burchell, if he's the Valdez that we see usually and not the Valdez that fought Burchell, he's not as fresh as Navarrete. He might lose that fight. He might get beat up a little bit in a war. It'll be a war. I don't see him getting stopped, but he might get beat up in that fight. And his face is always messed up after these fights. So the tape shows you Valdez at his best versus Navarrete at his best. Valdez probably wins and gets that left hook inside of that uppercut that Navarrete throws. But he's been in a lot of wars, man, and Navarrete's fresher than him. So we'll see.
Alrighty, guys, we got 5 minutes. Can we close out? 5 minutes.
5 minutes chat. 5 minutes chat. Let's make these the most greatest 5 minutes of our lives in these last 5 minutes. Can I just? I still got no jumper, Weedy. Weedy Gonzalez. You know I love you. I have no jumper. I had actually. You know what? There was a day or two at the YMCA a couple years ago where I was actually hitting jumpers. I squared my shoulders up with the basket, used the left hand to guide it, and did. For about 2 days there, I actually was making some mid-range jump shots, and it felt good. I was like, holy shit, I'm shooting the basketball at a somewhat competent form, and then it came and went back to being trash and shooting the basketball again. So, I am really good at NBA 2K. Even though 2K is not as good as it was in its glory days, the 2K14, 2K15, 2K16 days, it's not as good as it used to be, but it's getting better again. And I will bust your ass at NBA 2K. But, so, someone saying Bud could never beat Floyd, wake up, please. I agree. I got Floyd over Bud. Like I said, Floyd's gifts, his hand speed, his foot speed, and his reflexes were on another dimension from even Bud. And Bud is a better puncher than Floyd at welterweight. He's definitely a better puncher than Floyd, but Floyd's defense, reflexes, speed of hand and foot, even on another plane from Crawford, who's very, very, very gifted in those areas as well. So let's see. ZX said, you were saying Spence had one of the best jabs before the fight. Now you're changing your tune. Turns out Crawford has a better jab. I didn't see that coming. Yeah. They looking for the one thing. They're looking for something. They're looking for something to get me on. Yes, I thought Spence had the better jab. Turns out he does not, and Crawford does as well. Is better at him than that too. You got me.
But Ron didn't think that.
Ron did not think that.
There's a variety of FightHype guys over here, and you know what? It's okay to be wrong. Even you guys out there, it's okay. It's boxing. Y'all ain't perfect.
Even Ron did suspect at the media workout that this could be one-sided, and I didn't think it would be one-sided. I thought Crawford would. I picked him to win by knockout late. Counter-punching I knew would be the difference, but I thought early on Spence would do his thing. And Ron, to his credit, when we were watching the media day, said this could be one-sided, and it was. See you guys later.
All right, we'll be back. Yo, Sean, Z-Cap tomorrow, what time?
Z-Cap tomorrow at probably 11 or 12.
All right, 11 or 12. Listen, come back tomorrow, 11 or 12 Pacific time. Sean's going to rock out, all right? We got a whole bunch of videos still uploading, all right? Bashing the glory, man. You got it right. You got it right. We got it right, so. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. If you guys want to stay in the chat, just stay in there. We're just going to go black screen.